Started with just 16, and now only 2 remain. The 2025 Stanley Cup Final is finally here, with 2 games already done and gone, so let's take a look at them. My name is Liam, my friends call me Hammer, and join me as I take a look at games 1 and 2 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, and give my thoughts on where the series goes from here. So, starting off, Game 1 came at us Wednesday night, live from Rogers Place. The Edmonton Oilers, the Western Conference champions, playing host to the Florida Panthers, the Eastern Conference champions. Before I dive into the games, though, a lot of people asked me what my prediction for this series was because, I didn't do a preview predictions video like I usually would for a series of this scope. And I gotta be honest with you, my answer is going to be disappointing. I can almost promise this series is going to 7 games. I can't promise a winner. I have no idea. I have no idea who's going to win, and I can't even be biased because, if I'm entirely honest, I hate both these teams equally. For the obvious reasons that may or may not be looming on this wall right back there, I hate the Florida Panthers. And then you might be saying to yourself, Hammer, how can you hate the Edmonton Oilers? Well, let me tell you. It's not so much that I hate the Oilers. I more so just kind of find them irritating. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Stanley Cup Final, Game 1. Let's take a look. So, Game 1 kicked off Wednesday night from Edmonton. That's right, the Oilers have home ice advantage in this series. And the Oilers definitely have that home ice advantage. That crowd is absolutely insane. Did you hear the national anthem? The guy put his mic away, through, I think, the first verse, and the entire building was singing it. You could hear it down the block. I saw a TikTok of someone staying in a hotel a couple blocks away from Rogers Place, and you could hear the anthem outside the arena. And clearly Leon Draisaitl is feeling that home turf energy because, he scored pretty fast. A minute 6 into Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, and Leon Draisaitl has the Oilers on the board, 1-0. It was not a very pretty goal. There was a bunch of traffic in front, a bunch of bodies getting in the way. Puck bounces loose, right onto the stick of Leon Draisaitl. He fires it at Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky can't even see it coming. Oilers are up. But the party would be short-lived as the Panthers would get on the board not long after that. And it's him again, isn't it? Sam Bennett causing problems in front of a goalie because, what else do you pay Sam Bennett to do? And if you check the recent reports, apparently someone's going to pay Sam Bennett a lot to do that. But yeah, Sam Bennett gets tied up in front, falling into Stuart Skinner. And yeah, Panthers are on the board. There you go. Now, when Bennett fell into Skinner, first reaction is to say, he got knocked in by the defenseman. So, yeah, it's a good goal. But another thing to keep in mind is, it's Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett and goalies, there's no such thing as a coincidence there, is there? And clearly Chris Knobloch thinks so too because he issued a coaching challenge, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't like this coaching challenge at all. Is it Sam Bennett in front of a goalie knocking a goalie over, either leading to a goal or a goaltender injury? Yes. Is it a extremely obvious example of Sam Bennett messing with a goaltender? No. The way Bennett gets tied up with, I think it was Jake Wallman. I don't know, the game was a couple days ago, I can't really remember. The way Bennett gets tied up with Jake Wallman and is almost not pushed, but forced into Stuart Skinner, and neither of them have nowhere to go. I'm not defending Sam Bennett whatsoever. I'm more criticizing the challenge from Knobloch. And I suppose I'm right to challenge it because, the refs didn't let it slide. The game remains 1-1, and this was the beginning of the Oilers' downfall until about the third period. Issuing the coach's challenge, having that big break in play, almost like a timeout, issuing the coach's challenge, having that large gap in play, almost like a timeout, and then having the challenge not even go through, must have sucked a lot of life out of the Oilers' bench, and you see that over the next few minutes of the game. In fact, you see it merely 2 minutes later, because who would score but Brad Marchand, because of course it was. I can't escape this man. Everywhere I go, I see his face. That's actually true. I had a dream last night that Brad Marchand chased me through the woods. But enough about my declining mental state. Brad Marchand scores on the ensuing delay of game bench penalty for the Oilers, and the Panthers are up 2-1 heading into second intermission. They would come out of second intermission building upon that lead, making it 3-1 exactly 2 minutes into the second. And it's Sam Bennett again. It's always either Sam Bennett or Brad Marchand. What is that? It's like they're trying to traumatize Leafs fans. Nope, enough about the Leafs. I can't make the Stanley Cup Final about the Leafs, I'm sorry. The Oilers show signs of life not long after that, however, as Victor Arvidsson wires one from the high circle for his second of the playoffs. I did not even see that puck move. That would pretty much do it for the second period, though, so we're going to skip ahead into the third. Panthers are still up 3-2, about 5 minutes in, something like that, until Connor McDavid has the puck deep in the Panthers zone. So already, you know something big's going to happen. He's coming down along the side of the net and sends a awkward-looking pass into a busy-looking slot. It looked like the pass was heading for Evander Kane. He doesn't catch it, though, but Mattias Ekholm does. He sends it past Bobrovsky. Game is tied. Ekholm with his first of the playoffs. And when they asked McDavid after the game, was that pass intended for Ekholm or Kane, his answer was, I don't know, it went in, which, yeah, that's king mentality. I love to see it, Connor. And so we head into overtime, playoff overtime, Stanley Cup Final overtime. Is there anything more exciting? No, there's nothing more exciting except I could barely stay awake, I'm going to be honest. It was a very cool overtime, don't get me wrong. Lots of chances both ways, lots of nail-biting action. I was just tired. I was just very tired that night. And as the clock was winding down on overtime, we've got less than a minute left, and I'm thinking, oh no, I can't stay up for second overtime, but I have to. Leon Draisaitl, you are my hero. Draisaitl scores with 31 seconds left in the first overtime frame. Oilers take Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm remembering correctly, this is the first time a Canadian team has had a lead in a Stanley Cup Final series since Game 5 of 2011, when the Canucks were up 3-2 on the Bruins. Bruins would then storm back in Game 6 and 7, and then Vancouver would storm their own city. Anyway, let's move on to Game 2. Game 1 opened up with a quick Oilers goal, and I'm sure on home ice with the crowd buzzing once more, the Oilers would look to do that again. Unfortunately, Sam Bennett continues to exist. Evander Kane takes a high stick on Carter Verhaeghe almost immediately into the game, and the Panthers to the power play. On that power play, they get a nice zone entry, maintain a bit of pressure. Puck goes to someone charging through the slot in a Florida jersey. Oh, who could that be? Oh, it's Sam Bennett again. Sam Bennett with his 13th goal of the postseason. I don't like this man. This guy's going probably into free agency this summer, probably as the Conn Smythe winner. When's the last time the Conn Smythe winner went to free agency? I don't know, I'll have to look that up. Okay, I tried doing a quick search, and it doesn't look like there's anything quick about that search. I can't find a Conn Smythe winner that went to free agency that same summer. So if you can, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, Bennett scores 1-0 Panthers. It's party time in Sunrise. That is until Evander Kane redeems himself. Evander Kane, who was in the box that led to the power play goal for Sam Bennett, just goes out there and scores like 5 minutes later. Ties the game up. Good for you, Evander. And then Evan Bouchard sees his teammate Evander Kane score and says, that looks like fun. I might give that a go. It's 2-1 Oilers. But that 2-1 lead would be short-lived as Seth Jones ties it back up. And that tie would be short-lived as Leon Draisaitl makes it 3-2 Edmonton. Those 4 goals that I just mentioned, Kane, Bouchard, Jones, and Draisaitl, all happened in the span of 4 minutes and 58 seconds. But things would dial down from there and we head to the first intermission, 3-2 Oilers. And after a high-scoring first period for both teams, second period would be almost entirely dominated by the Panthers. Shots were 14-9 in favor of Florida, and they were able to pick up 2 goals on those 14 shots, courtesy of Dmitry Kulikov and Brad Marchand. Fun fact, if I say Brad Marchand's name one more time in this video, I'm going to jump through your computer screen. And if you thought the second period had died down, the third period only had 1 goal, but it was an exciting one. We'd wait all period long, sitting through the Panthers defend their lead in a boring fashion, as the Panthers sometimes do. They don't really counterattack, they just sort of choke the life out of you and make you not like playing hockey. In fact, we had to wait so long that Stuart Skinner was on the bench. The Oilers have the empty net. There's 18 seconds on the clock, and the puck is on Corey Perry's stick. Wait, no, it's not. It's in the back of the net. Corey Perry scores his 8th of the playoffs. We are tied at 4. Oilers fans, I think your team hates you. This is now 2 games in a row that you're down late in the third. They score, and then they force you to watch a grueling overtime that probably gives you heart palpitations. And speaking of grueling overtime, if you thought last game where we waited until the final minute of the first overtime period to get the game-winning goal was tough, this game would take not one but two overtimes to complete, as 8 minutes into the second overtime period of Game 2, Brad Marchand scores. It's always him. It's always Brad Marchand. I can't keep up anymore. I can't do this. You see what he's done to me as a Leafs fan? I know I said I wouldn't bring up the Leafs again, but you see what he's done to me. Anyway, he who shall not be named scores. Panthers win 5-4 in overtime. Series is tied 1-1, and we head to Sunrise, Florida for Game 3 on Monday. And if my math is correct, which it almost definitely isn't, through just 2 games of this Stanley Cup Final, we've already watched 167 minutes and 34 seconds of hockey. We have watched an extra half game of hockey through only 2 games of the Stanley Cup Final. This is going to be a good series. I'm sure if you're an Oilers fan or a Panthers fan, you just want your team to get this over with as soon as possible, save you the heartache, and just either win it or lose it quickly. But for the rest of us who just love watching good hockey, this thing better go to 7. I told you at the top of the video I would predict that this goes to 7. I'm just hoping at this point, because these have been 2 of the most entertaining games I've watched all year. And hopefully that trend continues as we get set for Game 3 on Monday. So I guess we'll reconvene around that time. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, I guess I can't say Go Leafs Go anymore, can I? Enjoy the Stanley Cup Final, everyone.